What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today is day 10. It's getting real. We got 8 more days till I'm 50 years old, the big 50. So I'm doing an 18-day countdown, daily video challenge. So today is day 10, and today is going to be start ugly, start scared, just start. Now, let me put this out there. I'm not saying anybody's ugly. I'm not saying your physical appearance is not up to par. What I am speaking to is just starting out, just not being concerned with all the bells and whistles, having the best studio set up or anything like that. It's just starting how you are. So with that out of the way, what does it mean to just start, you know? All I could do is speak on my own personal experiences. I wish I had thought of this years ago. I wish I had just not been so focused on trying to be perfect. Being a photographer or videographer, or whatever the case is, whatever your trade is, we all strive for perfection. We all strive to give the perfect appearance, if that makes sense, the perfect product. We'll be editing something in Photoshop or Premiere or whatever program you're using, but you'll be editing thinking in mind, I can't wait to post this pretty photo. I can't wait to put this out there so everybody can see it. And that's okay. The only downfall to that is your own thought process of it, your own opinion of it. If you think it's perfect or not, is going to define if you post it, if that makes sense. I found that out the hard way. I was so over analytical, analyzing everything that I do, that sometimes I just didn't post things, whether it be on Instagram, Facebook, or this and that. I didn't think it was good enough until I started coming here on YouTube. I kind of brought that same mentality when I first started here, and I would work on getting the right lighting, getting everything set up, in my other little office. And then I decided, hey, you know what? I need a whole brand new studio, because that's what I need to be professional, to get people to like my videos, to watch my videos. I gotta have everything that's needed. And that, unfortunately, is what a lot of people do. They'll wait till they're perfect to post. I know I've shared this before, but like I said, I had a hard time with speech. Using my words. I would not stutter, but I had a small little speech impediment that I try to outgrow. And that for a longest time kept me from posting, because I'm like, you know what, I gotta work on this. I gotta knock this down before I start posting anything. I gotta look this certain way before I post anything. My studio, this, for example, has to be perfect before I post anything, because people are going to watch this and they're going to be like, oh my God, that guy's got bad lighting or bad audio or whatever the case is. I listen to the wrong people. For example, I listened to this one person who's like, hey, you need the best audio, you need the best lighting, you need to have all this stuff and this and that, without looking at their own performance. If that makes sense. I didn't analyze who this feedback was coming from, who this person was. And I'm not knocking him, more power to him, best of luck. But it was bad advice, because I kept focusing on like the audio, for example. Now I got tons of brand stuff over here that I haven't even applied, because I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying how this is coming out. Can it be better? Yes. Will it stop me from posting until I get everything all situated? No. And that's the difference from what I was before to what I am now. I found out quickly that you could put all the bells and whistles on your videos. You can do everything that you want to do. You can have the best products. You can have the DJI Pocket 3 and the Insta360 and 15,000 cameras around you. But if you don't post it, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter. And not everybody's looking for that. People are looking, I don't know, it's shifted. Everything has shifted from people looking for luxurious videos and watching stuff like back in the 90s and the 2000s. Everybody's like, oh my God, the better the video, the better the quality, the better it's going to be. To now everybody looking for, you'll see it on TikTok. TikTok changed everything. TikTok made people push to just be themselves, just to come out raw and pure how they are. Now, some people will disagree. Some people will say, no, you need to keep that grounds and make sure everything is highly edited. But the numbers don't lie. I've seen some of my worst videos, 4 or 5 seconds, where I just recorded a quinceañera just running by me real quick or doing some kind of weird laugh, get millions of views over something that's highly polished. So now there is a different market on every app though, like on your Instagram. I think Instagram is like the Cadillac, you know what I'm saying? You got the Cadillac, and then you got YouTube, and then you got TikTok, which is just like the old Hyundai, whatever the case is. And of course, Facebook. So Facebook and Instagram are the Cadillacs because those are the ones you have to be highly professional or whatever the case is. I'm shifting everything that I do. All my high polished videos are just going for my clients. When they come in, they meet with us or whatever the case is, or someone reaches out, I send them our high polished videos, our high polished photos. Now on Instagram, we do put our best of the best of photos. TikTok, we just put everything out there. It doesn't even matter. On my own personal TikTok, I do a lot of the just cap cuts. So I just put tons of cap cuts on there because those are quick. I don't want to go too far into that. And that's under the sandbox. Now our Fotolilly photography, we put better edited photos, but still in cap cut because we take a lot of our stuff on cell phones. At events, we give them the high polished videos. But like I said, there's a shift. The attention, people I don't know. Me personally, I like them both. I like the bells and whistles. I like the little zooms and this and that, this and that. I don't like too much. I'll switch out. If I see like, I'm talking here, all of a sudden you see an elephant walking across my screen and this and that, a zap, a zip and everything else. I just move away from it. Now on the other side of that, some people want to make sure that they have the right attire. Some people want to make sure that their shirts are all pressed, their pants or whatever, their hats and this and that. I can't imagine women, coming on here. And I'm not knocking anybody, so don't start blasting me with comments. I applaud you because I know you have to put makeup on. You have to get your hair done and stuff like that. But even with that, on TikTok, if you go there, some of the women don't even have like the makeup on. They're doing the get ready with me's. And some of those are the best ones. That's when they start from scratch and they build up this beautiful person. But that's where everything's going. Basically what I'm saying is don't be afraid to post anything. Don't be afraid to think that your stuff is not good enough. I'm watching, for example, I got a friend down in San Antonio, and then I got a new guy that I'm watching on YouTube. And they're both truck drivers. So they're recording on their cell phone and they're just prop it up and you could see it. It's all jiggling and moving. And they're just talking to people. They're saying, hey, you know what? I hope you have a blessed day, this and that. They're giving words of encouragement. And then they go over some kind of Bible verses and stuff like that too. Just positive reinforcement. Now you could see the cars zipping by and stuff like that, or they're on lunch break and they're in the middle of the parking lot, just anywhere. The audio, they don't even have like an audio mic or anything, but their message, what they're relaying is powerful. Their personality is powerful. And they speak like me. They don't have like all the beautiful words. They stumble on stuff. It's not highly edited. They'll have like some small transitions just to keep their stuff out. But they're growing. And they're getting better daily. I can see it every single time they post. From the first moment that I started watching them, and then I went back and saw all their previous videos to up to now. Superb. And I'll drop their names in the comments because I want to give a big shout out to them. But that's who you want to strive to be. You want to strive to be more of just yourself. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Just get out there and start. Start ugly. And it's a scary thing, you know what I'm saying? YouTube is not, it's not easy because you're putting yourself out there. You're putting yourself I get these, like I said, I get comments. I'll get good comments, then I'll get those bad comments. You can't let that stop you. Sometimes when you see comments or you see thumbs down, you got to look at the person it's coming from. I can't wait for YouTube to release where some of this stuff is, because I don't believe in hiding behind the curtain. And a lot of people do that. A lot of spineless people hide behind curtains. A man goes up to somebody and says what they got to say to them directly. And I'm not trying to go off course here, but don't let comments or negativity stop you from what you're doing. Don't be influenced by someone that has no influence. That was my biggest thing, like I said earlier. When someone tells you, hey, you know what, your video sucks because of this or that, don't post that, or you might want to go back to the drawing board on this and that. This is what I'm gonna do. This is my biggest tip for you out of this video. I know some of us want to share our videos with someone else to look at it before you post it. And don't say you don't. I've done it many times. I went to my wife, I'm like, hey, can you look at this? Or I went to my daughters and can you look at this? And then what happens is we're not getting that reaction from them, or they might not agree with a certain thing. And then you end up saying, okay, well, I'll go back and edit it. You know that's not gonna happen. You're gonna go back and look at it and it's gonna hurt. You know, that stuff stings. When someone says something that's not to their liking. But that's when you gotta remember your audience. That's when you gotta remember, you know what? I'm not posting it for them. I'm not posting it for anybody else. I'm posting this for myself. And that's what's gonna change it. That's where it comes into thinking of your audience. Who's your audience? Who's your target people? The first person that should be your audience is yourself. You should be, these videos, you should be speaking as you're speaking to yourself, not just to an audience or whoever picks up the video and watches it. I like going back and watching these because they're little nuggets of my growth. They're little nuggets for me to remember something. So say, for example, like 2 weeks ago, after I'm done with this 18-day countdown, I'm gonna look back and be like, hey, you know what? I remember I put something on there to help me get through a hard Monday. Let me go back. I want to go back to that video and make sure that I am speaking to myself, speaking directly to me as a reminder, hey, you know what? This is what you got to do, William. This is what you got to focus on. This is how you got to build. Stay the course. Now, like I said, everything's not going to be for everybody. You know, even if it goes to like 10 or 20 people, it's still 20 people. But it's yourself. You're not selling out to anything. You're not changing your personality. Now, I know this other cat that I used to be cool with. As you look at his videos, his personality changes. Like it's night and day. There's no consistency to that. We talked about consistency yesterday. 1 minute they're this way, 1 minute they're that way. 1 minute they're this way, they're that way. You know, they're 1 minute they're all cumbias and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden they're a hardcore rock machine. Or they're a hardcore rock machine, and now they're like Beethoven, Bach. You know what I mean? Stay the course. Stay true to yourself. Don't flip around. People want to see someone that's consistent with how they are. Yes, you can get better at things. Like myself, I can get better at speaking. But you got to stay consistent with your message. You got to stay consistent with who you are and what you do and what you bring to the plate. Do I want a better studio? Yeah, I would love it. But not for these little videos here. I'm still doing it on my cell phone. I got tons of equipment, tons of video equipment. But what good is it if my message is not good? What good is anything that you throw on a video if you're not true to yourself or you're not true to your audience? None of that matters because you're a flip-flopper. You flip one day and you're a different person the next day. So I like to remain the same. Like I said yesterday, I like the little Facebook reminders because it shows me the consistency of who I am throughout different stages of my life. Don't be afraid to start. Whoever your influence is, check your influences. Go back and analyze those folks and see if they have their true intention for you. Now, sometimes If you have a group of friends that are in the same type of niche you are, or same providers, if you sell cable, keep in mind that sometimes they're going to root for you, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes some of their advice is not going to be the best advice because it is a competition, regardless of what you think. I've found that out the hard way with in different circumstances, where you think a friendship is a certain friendship until you start doing a little bit better, or you start doing things that they tried and it didn't work for them. That's when that certain amount of influences change. They're like, hey, this and that, and then it goes from like, hey, applauding, clapping to attacking. So analyze, inspect your group of people, but don't be afraid. Now, one thing that you're gonna have to really get over is finding flaws in you. Learn to love yourself, even with little flaws, even if you have like whatever the case is, if you have a mole on the side of your face, or your head's too big, or your one leg is longer than the other, don't focus on that stuff, because that stops you from posting. Don't focus on just the little minor flaws. Not everybody's, I guarantee you, sometimes people are just looking past some things. They're not just looking in the video camera trying to see what's wrong with you. Maybe there might be a group of childish people out there. Yeah, that's a chance. But if your message is strong, it doesn't matter what you look like. Like I said, I've heard the most powerful messages come from people that you wouldn't even think it came from. I have an array of different people that I follow on YouTube. I have ex-felons that went to prison, up to pastors, to these guys that drive trucks. And I've listened to messages coming from people in environments where they're like, suit and tie and stuff like this, and, $100,000 watches and all this stuff, but their message just falls on deaf ears. And then you listen to like people like Les Brown that just talk about their story, talk about their lives and their growth, and it's powerful. Like Ray Lewis and his life story and how he talks. That's how he doesn't talk like a normal, just average person. The way he talks, he's got that slang, he's got that word, that street talk. I don't know how to explain it, but the delivery that he has is just amazing. Now, when I look at these successful people, I always have to remind myself that they started from somewhere. Mr. Beast and all those people, they started from scrap. If you go back to their old videos in the eyes of YouTube are horrible. Their audio, the quality, they look like they're on cameras, handheld cameras, but you look at them now, the growth, it's just insane. I love stories like that. And I hope this video impacts you to just go out there, I'm grateful to be starting. I'm grateful to step away from the bad influences that I had, the bad opinions, input, or whatever you want to call it, bad juju. I'm just glad I stepped away from that, because it's not stopping me. The only person that could stop me is myself. Or if YouTube just takes away my channel, whatever the case is, but hopefully not. So yeah, with that, like I said, just go ahead and start ugly, start scared, just start. And that's my message for today. Don't worry about anything that you think is not up to par. Start just opening up yourself. Speak truth, speak yourself, be yourself. Don't follow anybody else. And the audience will find you. Keep posting even if they don't. That's one more thing I want to leave somebody out there. If you don't get the views, don't let that stop you. You keep showing up, being consistent. Keep doing your videos, keep coming on there daily. And that's what changes everything. Someone will see your video, like your video, but the main person that is going to make the biggest influence on how you're doing things and what you're doing things is yourself. Because you're going to go back and you're going to look at that. You're going to look at a library full of someone that stepped out and stepped up. Someone that wasn't afraid to start ugly, start scared. They just started. So that's my day 10. Now we're going into the single digits, 8 more days. I think they have something planned for my birthday, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. The big 5-0. That's crazy. 50 years in the making. I was born in 1975. And like I said on previous videos, every day I'm alive is a blessing. Every day I get to see my kids is a blessing. Yesterday, let me end with this. As I was speaking on consistency yesterday, it never fails. Every time I post something happens to test what I spoke about, if that makes sense. So yesterday I spoke on consistency and I woke up early and stuff like that. My daughter had an appointment and everything. Well, the air conditioner, I've been having issues with it. The house air conditioner, not the one in here, but it threw my day for a loop. You know, I had to go up there and I took an HVAC and I had to take out, I had to clear the, I don't know what it's called, but the water that comes out of it. And it was just dripping and dripping and dripping. And I'm like, dude, this is going crazy. And I kept doing it, and gallons of water. Thank God I had a bucket underneath the air conditioner from the previous years that caught that. Otherwise, it would have been a flood in my house. And it was on the 2nd floor. So it could have messed up my whole day, but I stayed consistent. And I finished up a wedding gallery that was humongous. I mean, we took almost like 6,000 photos. But what had happened is with that air conditioner, that could have threw everything. I could have just said, you know what, I'm just done. I'm done for the day. But I remembered that I did that video early talking about consistency. And I stayed true to what I had to do. And then we called the air conditioner guy and he came out and he fixed it in 5 minutes. Like, not 5 minutes, but he fixed it in 30 minutes and it hasn't dripped. It's perfect. But it all goes into everything that we've been talking about in this series, this 18-day series so far. Well, 10 days. But like, don't explode over things, you know, stay consistent. I could have got angry. I could have got really frustrated with the air conditioner. But I said, you know what? I done what I could do. Let's get in a professional in here. Let's get it fixed. And let me finish this wedding gallery. And I finished it. So on that note, like I said, start ugly, start scared, just start. If you're beautiful, hey, you know what? You got it. You got that first step already. But I want to thank you for being part of this series with me so far. Like I said, every day has been great for me. It's been so much growth, and it's only 10 days. And I think after this 18-day thing is done, I'm going to just keep doing these videos. Maybe not with like whole titles and everything like that. Just coming on here daily and just sharing a little bit more, because I like who I'm seeing. I like who I'm becoming. I like who I am growing to be. So thank you very much for being part of this. Thank you for being part of my channel. And thank you for the likes and the comments and everything. I appreciate that. Every comment that I get, I always respond to. So if you have a comment on this, if this video was for you, perfect. If it wasn't, I'm sorry, not your cup of tea. You can always get a big old cup of coffee and that might be better. But thank you for your time. I know time is valuable. So thank you for being here with me today. And we'll see you tomorrow, which will be day 11. And then we'll be getting even closer to my 50th birthday. So thank you very much and you have a blessed day. Deuces.